Have you ever sat quietly in the late afternoon and wondered, when I grow weaker, when life slows down, who will really be there for me? At 60 and beyond, it's a question that creeps in, even if we don't say it out loud. We love our families, of course we do. But deep down, many of us know that even the people we raised, the ones we gave everything to, may not always be able or willing to stand beside us when we need them most. It's not because they don't love us. Life just pulls people in different directions. And if we base our sense of safety, happiness, or even survival entirely on others, we may end up feeling disappointed, lost, or powerless. But what if I told you that you don't have to live with that fear? The truth is, after 60, your greatest support system isn't outside of you. It's what you build inside and around yourself. And no, I'm not talking about big changes or complicated plans. I'm talking about 5 simple, powerful pillars. These are the foundations that can carry you through the years ahead with strength, peace, and freedom. This isn't theory. These are real, practical steps that thousands have used to stay independent and joyful, whether they live near family or completely on their own. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might just realize that the second half of life could be your strongest yet. Let's start with the pillar that gives you the power to choose your own life: financial independence. Pillar 1, financial independence. The freedom to never ask permission. Let's get real. Money might not buy happiness, but a lack of it can sure steal your peace. Financial independence after 60 isn't about being rich. It's about being free. Free from having to ask your kids for help. Free from worrying if you'll be a burden. Free to wake up and make your own choices without waiting for someone else to say it's okay. I once met a man named Richard, 68 years old, widowed. 2 grown kids living across the country. He told me something that stuck with me. I don't want my kids to feel like I'm an obligation. I want to be the kind of father who's always a blessing, never a weight. Richard wasn't a millionaire, but he did something smart. He downsized his home, took a portion of that equity, and put it into a small rental property, a duplex. The rent covered most of his monthly expenses. That meant he could afford his groceries, meds, and the occasional road trip to visit his grandkids without dipping into his savings or asking anyone for help. That's what financial independence looks like. Not flashy, but powerful. Now, maybe you're listening and thinking, well, I didn't plan like that. I don't have extra property or investments. And that's okay. It's never too late to take small steps that can give you more control. Start by tracking your spending, not in your head, but on paper or an app. See where your money actually goes. You might be surprised how much disappears into things you barely use: streaming services, takeout, old subscriptions. Cutting just a few of those can free up money for what truly matters. Next, ask yourself, can I create a new income stream that fits my lifestyle? I'm not talking about going back to a full-time job. I mean small, flexible things. Maybe you love gardening. Teach a weekend class at your local community center. Are you good with numbers? Offer part-time bookkeeping for a small business. Even something as simple as selling crafts online or renting out your driveway during events can bring in extra cash. It's not about hustling. It's about staying sharp, feeling useful, and building a safety net, $1 at a time. And here's something many people overlook. Talk to a financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. Many communities offer free or low-cost consultations through senior centers or nonprofit groups. A 30-minute conversation could uncover tax credits you didn't know about or smarter ways to use the savings you do have. Financial independence isn't about pride. It's about dignity. It's about making sure you can say yes to the things that light you up and no to the things that drain you. Because let's face it, when you can cover your own needs, you don't just survive, you thrive. You hold on to your choices, your voice, and your peace of mind. So ask yourself honestly, if your income stopped tomorrow, how long could you stay independent? And if that question makes you nervous, let it motivate you, not to panic, but to plan. Because every dollar you save, every skill you share, every step you take toward financial clarity, those are bricks in the foundation of your freedom. Up next, we're going to talk about something even more important than money, your health. Because independence doesn't matter much if your body can't keep up with your spirit. Let's dive into Pillar 2, physical health. Pillar 2, physical health, the power to stay in control. Let's be honest, no matter how much money you have, if your body starts breaking down, your freedom goes with it. You see, staying healthy after 60 isn't just about living longer. It's about living better. It's the difference between waking up excited to take a walk around the block and dreading the moment you have to get out of bed. It's about whether you can drive yourself to the grocery store, cook your own meals, or simply tie your shoes without pain. I once spoke to a woman named Carol, 72 years old, retired school principal. She told me something that hit home. I don't want to live to 90 if I'm just sitting in a chair watching TV all day. I want to be able to move, to feel strong, to chase after my grandkids without fear of falling. And guess what? She can. Not because she's lucky, but because she made it a habit. Every morning she walks for 30 minutes, rain or shine. Nothing crazy, just a steady pace, enough to get her heart going. Twice a week she does simple strength training, water bottles for weights, some chair squats, a little balance work. That's it. No gym membership, no fancy routine. But here's the thing. It works. Her joints are flexible. Her heart is strong. Her confidence, unshakable. So if you're sitting there thinking, well, it's too late for me, let me stop you right there. It's never too late to improve your health, only too late to start. You don't have to run marathons. Just start where you are. Can you walk for 10 minutes today? Great. Do that. Then stretch it to 15 next week. Little steps are still steps. And let's not forget food. After 60, your body doesn't need as much quantity, but it craves quality. Whole foods, more greens, less sugar, lean proteins, fewer processed things. It doesn't mean giving up the foods you love. It just means loving your body enough to fuel it right. And please, get your checkups. I know no one likes going to the doctor, but skipping them doesn't save time. It just hides problems until they're too big to ignore. Catching issues early can save you money, stress, and in some cases, your life. Think of it this way. Your body is your home. After 60, you've already lived a full life inside it. Now it's about maintenance. Tune it up, oil the joints, and keep the engine running. Because when your body is strong, you stay in control. You get to decide where you go, what you do, and how you live, not your medications, not your limitations. And there's a beautiful bonus here. When you take care of your body, your mind follows. You feel more alert, more positive, more present, and that makes everything in life a little brighter. So ask yourself, what small thing can you do today to feel stronger tomorrow? Coming up next, we're going to talk about the one thing that keeps people going when everything else falls apart: emotional resilience. Because aging isn't just about your body, it's about how your heart and mind handle change, loss, and growth. Let's keep going. Pillar 3, emotional resilience, the strength to face change with grace. Let's talk about something we don't always like to admit. After 60, life changes in ways we're not always prepared for. The house gets quieter, friends start to move or pass on, the phone doesn't ring as often, and for many, careers that once gave structure and purpose come to an end. It can feel like life is shrinking, like the world is moving on without you, and that can be hard. But here's the truth. No one tells you enough. Emotional resilience, the ability to bounce back, to adapt, to keep going with an open heart, is just as important as physical health, maybe even more. I remember meeting a man named Thomas. He was 70, recently widowed. His wife of 40 years passed suddenly, and he told me, I felt like someone had pulled the floor out from under me. I didn't know who I was without her. But Thomas didn't stay stuck in that grief. He allowed himself to feel it, yes. But slowly, he began doing small things that helped him reconnect to life. He started going to a local grief support group. Then he picked up photography. something he'd always been curious about but never had time for. A year later, he wasn't over it, because you don't get over losing someone like that. But he had found a new way to live. He told me, "I still miss her every day, but I smile more now. I notice light, color, moments, and I think she'd want that for me." That's emotional resilience, not pretending everything's fine, but choosing over and over again to keep moving forward with grace. So how do you build that kind of strength? Start small. Practice mindfulness. Just 5 minutes a day. Sit quietly, breathe. Pay attention to how you feel without trying to change it. That simple act of awareness creates space inside you, and space is where healing begins. Next, lean into joy, not happiness. That comes and goes, but joy. What brings you quiet satisfaction? Gardening, writing, walking in nature, reconnecting with an old friend? Those moments matter more than ever now. And one more thing, practice gratitude. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's powerful. Every night, write down 3 things you're thankful for. It trains your mind to notice what's still good, even when things are hard. Because here's the truth. Resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's about learning to live with it and still find meaning. You're not the same person you were at 40. That's not a loss. That's growth. So ask yourself, what's one part of your heart you've been neglecting? And what can you do this week to tend to it? Up next, we're going to talk about something that often gets overlooked but makes a world of difference: your social circle. Because no one is meant to walk this path completely alone. Let's dive into Pillar 4. Pillar 4, a supportive social circle. The people who lift you up. Here's something most people don't realize until later in life. Loneliness isn't just sad, it's dangerous. In fact, studies have shown that chronic loneliness can be just as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Think about that. And yet, after 60, it gets harder to keep in touch. Friends move away. Some pass on. The energy to meet new people fades. And if your whole social world was built around your work or your family, retirement can feel like a social desert. But here's the thing. You still need people. Not a crowd, just a few good ones. People who listen, who laugh with you, who remember your stories. People who make you feel like you still matter. Let me tell you about Helen. She's 69, retired, and living in a quiet suburb. After her husband passed and her children moved states away, she found herself feeling invisible. Days blurred together. Meals were silent. She told me, "I started talking to my plants more than people." But one day she walked into her local library and noticed a flyer for a weekly book club. She hadn't read a novel in years, but something in her said, why not? Fast forward 6 months. Helen has not only read more books than she has in the past decade, but she's also made 3 close friends. They go for coffee, take short weekend trips, even celebrate holidays together. She told me, "Joining that group gave me back a piece of myself I thought I'd lost." Here's the truth. Friendships after 60 won't always come knocking. You've got to open the door. So where do you start? Find something you enjoy or even used to enjoy and go do it with others. Join a walking group, a cooking class, a local church or community center. Volunteer for a cause you care about. The point isn't just to meet people, it's to meet the right people. People who share your values, your humor, your rhythm, and don't underestimate the power of old friends. Reach out. Call someone you haven't spoken to in years. Send a letter. You'd be surprised how many people are also longing to reconnect. Remember, social media can't replace real connection. 1,000 likes won't warm your heart the way one genuine conversation will. You don't need to be the life of the party. You just need a handful of people who remind you that life is still meant to be shared. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about avoiding loneliness. It's about adding joy, meaning, and community to every chapter that's still to come. So ask yourself, who are the people in your life who lift you up? And if you can't name them right now, maybe it's time to go find them. Up next, we move into the final and perhaps most powerful pillar of all, purpose. Because no matter your age, life needs direction. Let's talk about what it means to wake up with a reason. Pillar 5, a clear sense of purpose. Why getting older doesn't mean giving up meaning. Here's something most people don't talk about when it comes to aging. Boredom can be just as painful as illness. When you no longer have somewhere to be, something to work on, or someone who truly needs you, it can feel like you're just existing, not living. That's where purpose comes in. It's not a big, flashy word, it's quiet, but it's powerful. Having a sense of purpose doesn't mean you have to change the world. It just means you wake up with something to care about, something that gives your day structure, meaning, and even joy. I once met Peter, a retired engineer in his early 70s. After working for 40 years, he suddenly found himself with nothing on his calendar. The first few weeks felt like freedom, but soon after he told me, I was sleeping in, eating junk, watching TV, and wondering, is this it? Then one day, he found his old toolbox. He dusted it off and started fixing up a wobbly chair in the garage. That one chair turned into 5, then 10. Then a neighbor asked if he could fix an old bookshelf. Soon, Peter was spending his days refurbishing furniture and donating it to local shelters and schools. He told me, I may not be earning a paycheck, but I feel more valuable now than I did when I was working full-time. That's the power of purpose. So how do you find yours? Start by asking, what did I love to do before life got busy? Maybe it was painting, teaching, writing, helping others. Think small. Think real. What makes you lose track of time? What makes your heart feel full? Maybe you love kids. What if you started tutoring at the local library? Maybe you're great at organizing. Could you help a community pantry stay on track? Maybe you just love stories. What if you started recording your life, one memory at a time to leave behind for your grandkids? You see, purpose doesn't have to be public. It just has to be personal, and it doesn't have to be tied to your past career. You're allowed to start completely new. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to surprise yourself. Because purpose isn't something you find once and keep forever. It evolves. It grows with you. And here's the most important part. Having purpose protects your mental health. It keeps your mind active, your days full, and your heart connected. It reduces the risk of depression, cognitive decline, and even chronic illness. So ask yourself this, what could I do this month that gives my day meaning? Not what others expect, what you want. And if you don't have the answer today, that's okay. Just start looking, start trying. Because the moment you feel useful again, needed again, alive again, you'll remember that this chapter of life isn't the end. It's a whole new beginning. Up next, we'll tie it all together and talk about how these 5 pillars can help you live the rest of your life not in fear, but in freedom. So here we are. You've made it through all 5 pillars. And if you're still watching, I want to say something. Thank you. Not just for your time, but for your courage. Because it takes courage to reflect, to ask hard questions, to think about what really matters in the years ahead. Let's recap. First, financial independence, because dignity means not having to ask permission to live your life. Second, physical health, because when your body is strong, your freedom stays yours. Third, emotional resilience, because life will shake you, but you get to decide whether it breaks you. Fourth, a supportive social circle, because the right people don't just keep you company, they keep you alive. And fifth, a clear sense of purpose, because you're not here to simply wait for time to pass. You're here to make it count. These pillars aren't quick fixes, they're foundations. And no matter how old you are or where you're starting from, you can begin to build or rebuild them right now. You don't have to do it perfectly, you just have to start. Because after 60, life isn't over, it's just different. And in many ways, it can be better. Freer, quieter, deeper, more meaningful. But it takes intention, it takes honesty, and it takes support. That's what this channel is here for. So if this video spoke to you, if even one part made you pause, reflect, or smile, don't keep that to yourself. Leave a comment. Tell me which pillar you're working on, or which one you've mastered. Share your story because you never know who needs to hear it. And if you're just getting started, type "I'm building" in the comments. So I know you're not alone. So you know you're not alone. And of course, if you found value here, subscribe. Not because I said so, but because this space is for you, for people who want more than survival in their later years. People who want strength, clarity, and connection. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of yourself. You're not done growing, not even close. I'll see you in the next one.